Scottie Scheffler comments. Do you hear me?
And welcome to Barely Out of Bounds. It's your boy Rico Daddy Slick here.
How did your crew not get out there? They're playing off!
On the green, we sway with a beer in hand every day. From the tee to the hole, we're just trying to keep control. We're barely out of bounds, drinking and golfing around. A toast to the fairway we raise, for the love of the game and the haze. For the love of the game and the haze.
I don't know if it's about a thin flat. I don't know.
Hello? We're here. We're live.
Oh, there's no music. I thought we were doing music. I thought we had that lined up. Oh, sorry. Anyway,
And your screen's flipped, so it was backwards anyway.
You're joking. That was lame.
Oh man. Alrighty. How we doing tonight? It's another episode of Barely Out of Bounds. We're going to be talking golf, all things in the golf world. A lot of exciting stuff to talk about this week. A lot of controversial stuff to talk about this week. Shut up, Siri. We don't care about you. Zane, how are you doing today?
I'm doing swell. I had a pretty decent day. I went out, got to enjoy the sun a little bit. It was perfect. I mean, it was perfect weather.
Very nice out
I mean,
today,
you couldn't have asked for better weather here in northern Georgia. I thought it was amazing. Had a few really great lessons today. Got to go out, enjoy the sun. It was a really good day. Zach, how was your day?
It wasn't great.
I'm sorry.
But it's okay.
I am the shoulder that you'll need to cry on.
Shut up.
Okay. I'm having a hard time hearing you, by the way.
You're having
you might
a hard
want to
time.
turn it. Yeah, you might want to turn it. Yeah, you might want to turn it up a little bit.
No, what happened?
Uh-oh. He's gone.
Can you hear me?
And he's gone. Yeah,
Can you hear
I
me?
can hear you just fine.
Okay. Well, I'm going to work on fixing the camera, and we're just going to keep going.
Okay.
So what are you drinking tonight, buddy?
I am drinking Miller Lite. I hope I pop that. Otherwise, this thing is going to be really flat. So this is
here.
yeah, it's going to be nasty. So I got Miller Lite. You know what they say? If your wife ain't treating you right, grab yourself a Miller Lite. I don't have a wife anymore, and so this is still going to be treating me right. So
this sounds a lot like that commercial by Shane Gillis. Couple of beers. Couple of beers.
That's right. The best. That's one of the best commercials ever.
That is one of the better ones.
Best pharmaceutical out there is Couple of Beers. So Zach, what are you drinking tonight?
We'll get to that in a second when I can actually get my camera working because I want.
How about you just tell us? You just tell us, and then you can tell us.
It's not going to work unless my camera's working. So
no, just tell us.
No, we gotta get the camera working. I don't know why it's not.
Do we need to restart the show?
No, we don't need to restart the show. Zane, did you get a chance? How's your golf game been? We're just gonna go right on to that. I'll get this fixed. We're gonna listen. We'll do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, Bill O'Reilly. People don't probably even know that reference. So I bet some people do. That's pretty aged. It's a pretty aged reference. Sad times at Ridgemont High.
Gun.
So anyway, no, my game's actually fairly good. Been working on the swing a lot recently. I think later this week, I'm going to work more on my putting, short game. But I actually signed up. So the last 2 weeks, I think I told Zach this. Last 2 weeks, I've never done this before in my life. Last 2 weeks, I've had 2 rounds where I had 4 birdies in a row. I've never done that.
Ever.
Period. Ever. That's not a thing. I've done 3 a few times, but I've never done 4. Okay. And so I did something that I told myself I wouldn't do until I felt I was absolutely ready, because I don't like pissing money down the drain.
Yeah. That's bad.
Pissing money down the drain is bad. The only kind of green that should go down the drain is your pee. And I signed up for the U.S. Open qualifier down in Ritz-Carlton, Orlando, where they play the PNC. Me and Zach are very familiar with the course. We played there a number of times as juniors, and so I'm excited for it. That'll be my first tournament round of the year, I think, because it's at the beginning of May. Most of the Georgia PGA stuff, Zach knows already, is in June.
Yeah.
In July, and so that's probably going to be my first one, and so I'm really looking forward to it.
Okay.
I've been working really hard at the game.
Probably need to up my workouts a little bit. Been kind of slacking on those ever since the Tough Mudder out in Austin. Just it was a hard work up there, and then you're going down to the valley, you kind of feel like you can relax. But
all right, Zane, keep going. I'll be right back. I think if I reconnect, it'll work. But the show will go on. I'll just be right back.
That's fine. I'm better without you anyway.
Okay.
So I did that, and I feel really good about the game. And so yeah. So once that gets back on here, we're going to talk a little bit. Let me go over a little bit of the itinerary for this evening. We're going to talk mainly about the first topic is going to be the players. We're going to go over the players. JJ Spaun's falling out, crash, that burn landing that he had at Players Championship. There he is. Hey, Opa!
You look better too. I don't know.
You sound better.
I don't know.
You sound better. You must have taken something real good. Maybe a couple of beers.
Couple of beers.
Maybe you had some of that.
But you signed up for a U.S. Open qualifier. That's
I did.
Exciting stuff.
I did. It's going to be my first tournament round of the year. I was just telling the audience, because they were the only ones listening to me. I was just telling the audience that, the itinerary for tonight is going to be, we're going to talk about the players, going to talk about JJ Spaun and his absolute, crash. He gave a crash course in mental, what not to do. And we're going to go over that. And then we're going to go over, obviously, Rory winning it, what that means, what kind of led to that during the week. After that, we're going to talk a little bit about comments that have been made recently that are seemingly leading to this idea that maybe PGA and LIV aren't getting back together as soon as we thought. Or some forces don't want it to happen, which would be unfortunate. And then we're going to talk a little bit about what's the last? Oh, we're going to talk a little bit about fun topics. YouTube golf. I know Zach wants to cover that, as well as some funny YouTube stuff that happened. Recently with a certain guy on Atlanta Drive. Which congrats Atlanta Drive. We won against the Bay Golf Club, so that's good. And super excited for what those guys do next.
Hey, Jude. I'm drinking
Jude.
I'm drinking Jude. It's from Reformation Brewing. Looks really good. North Georgia made. I don't know what city it's from. Oh my god. It's a 9.2% alcohol. I didn't even know that until right now.
Chug it.
It's a Belgian style triple ale.
Chug it.
So,
Chug.
first taste, that's really good for 9.2.
Oh,
that's really good for 9.2. My golf game was going in a really good direction, and I have suffered an injury. And
whoa.
I am not going to be able to swing a golf club probably for the next 5 or 6 days, which kind of sucks for everything I'm trying to do on the YouTube channel, because I was on a really good pace of getting YouTube videos out.
Sure.
But probably not going to be able to have a video up next week or this week. So
Gotcha.
I might be able to get one up at the end of next week if I heal properly. I've strained an abdominal muscle, and that's put me out of commission pretty much for the time being.
So what do you mean? How did you do that?
So I don't know. I don't know when it happened. It started hurting Saturday.
Okay.
When I was up in Tennessee visiting our family.
How did it happen up there?
So I don't think it happened up there. I worked out on Thursday night. I did a lot of ab exercises on Thursday night. I did some arms and some back. And then Friday, I did some speed training because I'm trying to pick up a little bit of ball speed. I did have a new personal best ball speed. 172.
Nice.
So that was cool. But I think what happened was I did all that, and then I sat in a car for almost 4 hours driving. And I think going from super overactivity to no activity for a long period of time caused something in my left side right here. Like I played golf yesterday, and it was a mistake because it bothered me a lot today. Because I just thought it would get better, swinging easy, and I'd be fine. And it's not getting better. Hey Zane, that's not how you spell my name, by the way. Be better. I'm trying.
Okay.
I
meant get better.
No,
I didn't mean that.
But probably out of commission for the next 4 or 5 days, depending on how I heal. If I can get to no pain in 3, then I'll be out there in 4. But
okay,
I really don't want to rush it because I have some might call it a history of rushing the process of healing.
What?
Yeah. It's why I have arthritis in my ankle, and I don't want to end up not being able to play events this year by overworking it on the road to recovery. So hopefully next 3 or 4 days it starts feeling a little bit better. If not, we'll go to the doctor, see what they say. But before we get into any of the topics of tonight's show, want to real quick shout out the Teespring store, Teespring or BeerlySports.creatorspring.com. You got Beerly hockey merch, but also the best podcast, Beerly Out of Bounds.
That's
got
right.
Lots of merch, hats, hoodies, shirts, etc. A lot of great stuff on that site. If you guys want to check it out.
Get your ballsy merch. Be ballsy.
And I want to say our Teespring store is one of the cheapest out there. I did that because I want it to be affordable for everyone who watches, listens, or enjoys the show.
I mean, we're here to just enjoy ourselves and talk golf. I mean, that's really what – I mean, me and Zach know that. We said that early on. We want this to just be like kind of a fun thing. If it blows up, great. But we really want to have fun with this. We want you guys to have fun with this too. So make sure you comment and make sure you're a part of the conversation. Like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'm getting better at this, Zach. And then make sure you're in tune, because obviously notifications only get sent out to you if you hit that notification bell.
Absolutely.
Yep. So anyway.
And then one more thing I wanted to talk about. You may notice, Zach, your outfit. I've never seen it before. That's a really cool hat.
God, I was going to ask.
This year I'm an ambassador for Yada Golf. Their new spring line is out right now. You can click the link in the description. It automatically applies the discount to your checkout. But they got a lot of really cool designs over here. In fact, the new spring line I'm wearing the Kapow golf polo. And one of their Yada golf hats. But if you go over to their store, you go to Allman's Golf Polos, they got some pretty cool stuff. They got Augusta themed. They've got Waste Management Open themed stuff. This is a really good Augusta polo. I really like this one. But yeah, make sure you guys head on over there, check it out. It's another reason why I wanted to work with this company. I obviously have these conversations with my wife. Number one, it's great material, and then number two, it's much cheaper than most of the companies that have as good a material out there. Like the collar, it's a pretty solid collar. It's going to stay where it needs to be most of the time.
I'm confused as to how that had anything to do with your wife. Because
I talked to her about the companies I'm applying for ambassadorship for. Mm-hmm. And one of the big selling points of this is I really like their shirts, their designs. And then two, it's cheaper than other companies that I applied for. Like the actual product is. And I like being attached to affordable brands. Anyway, that's all we have. We've paid the bills. Zane, what's our first topic of conversation tonight?
We're going to talk a little bit about the players. Oh, what's wrong with my hat here? We're going to talk a little bit about the players, about Rory McIlroy winning that. He's now a two-time Players Champion. He's joined a group of only 4 golfers ever to do so. That's Scottie, Jack, Tiger, and then him. So that's pretty cool. And then on top of that, we're going to talk about the Jay Monahan. We're going to talk about the whole PGA thing because that's come up more and more now as we're nearing kind of a decision and a
critical juncture. Some might say.
Juncture. Some people are making their voices heard and seem to not want this anymore, which is odd. And it's a weird time for that. And then
that is odd. We'll talk about the comments in a minute.
The timing's odd.
The timing's odd, and it's also the messenger saying that is odd because I've been watching Full Swing Season 3. I know I'm a little bit behind, but it's just odd. Anyway.
Okay, cool. And then the last, we're going to just chip it up a bit. We've got a couple of fun little taglines.
So let's talk about Rory at the Players, Zane. Number one, he played a style of golf that you typically don't see him play there. And that is he is missing a lot of fairways. And still scoring extremely well. Typically, when I think of Rory, it's a guy that hits a lot of fairways, hits greens, and that's when he's playing well. And I think in round 1, I think he hit 4 fairways and shot 3 or 4 under par. Mm-hmm. So, very, very impressive weekend for Rory. Obviously taking it down in a playoff over JJ Spaun. Zane, I know you had some words to talk about JJ Spaun. I didn't necessarily agree with your take, but go ahead.
I just don't see how you see, I really hated the mealy mouthness of the announcers, including Kevin Kisner. That was just a choke job. There's no other way to look at it. There really isn't. If you actually watched it, if you didn't watch it, then whatever. But if you actually watched it, what you saw was a guy who couldn't handle the heat. Whenever the light shone brightest, it's one of Zach's favorite lines that he likes to use on everybody. Is like, when the light shone brightest, he couldn't handle it. Well, this is Exhibit A of that happening. The dude hit a block push off the very first tee shot. He proceeded to hit a chunk push almost into the water on his second shot from the rough, which he could have just laid up even shorter than he did, gave himself an easy wedge. He didn't do that for reasons I don't know. Then he decided, then from there, after the chunk, he's in the bunker, and then he hits
a chunk bunker shot. Barely on the green. He leaves it 2 feet short on the lag putt up, which he's only about 20 feet. Didn't even give himself a chance there. Taps it in. He's only 1 down. So even after all of that, dude's only 1 down. He then gets up on the next tee. Rory hits his back middle of the green. You can see JJ looking over at Rory's bag to see what club he played. And then JJ Spaun proceeds to not just miss the green. It looked, me and Dad were sitting there watching it. We were all excited because the line and everything looked great. Looked like it was cutting back to the pin. He flew it by 5 yards at least. And so and not only that, if you think about that green, Zach knows this. If you think about that green, he actually flew his landing spot by like 10 yards. Because if you landed on the back of the green, you're wet. And we know that from watching these players playing this week. And so you can't tell me, even after, so let's fast forward. So he triples that hole, right? Triples that hole, hits a really crappy, it's just a choke job. Hits a really crappy shot on his drop, off of his drop to the collar of the green on the front, not to the back right where the pin is because they didn't change pins. Mm-hmm. He hit a chunk to the front of the green, didn't get back there, hits a chip way by, misses the putt, makes a 6. Then on the tee ball, on the very next tee shot, block push right. Block push right, then he tops it. Well, it doesn't technically top it. Hits it so low, it hits a knoll right in front of him, seemingly, and shot up, and then just piddled out in the fairway. Zach, there's just no other way of looking at this than that was one of the biggest choke jobs I have ever seen. That is on par with the 2000. It's kind of funny where you're about to talk about the kid who got punished. It is.
It's not on par with
it. It is on par.
That is a ridiculous statement.
No. It's absolutely on par. He didn't have 72 holes left to play. It's a 3-hole aggregate. It's a 3-hole aggregate. He doesn't have 72. He doesn't have 18 holes left to play on the final day. That is by far and above a worse choke job than Rory in 2011 at the Masters. So this is just one of those things you can't. And the one thing I hated about the announcers is this is like you go back to the really good announcers like Johnny Miller, David Ferry, dude. They just tell it like it is. One of the big things about these broadcasts that people don't realize, people making the decisions about who should be on broadcast, who should be on the broadcast, don't realize is the broadcast team needs to be entertaining. And if they're just kind of going, oh, well, it's starting to unravel for JJ Spaun. And that's being said on 18th fairway. Dude, shit's already unraveled. What are you even talking about? It's so annoying because in any other sport, like say football, they're way more blunt with the commentary. I get it's a gentleman's game. Just tell it like it is. Pack up your bags, go home, JJ. That should have been a line on 17. It should have.
Yeah, after he hits it in the water there, it's over. But
game was over. Game, set, match. All Rory needed to do on the last hole. Yeah, he did exactly what he needed on the last hole. All he needed to do is hit a block right push.
Yeah.
Tip it out. Hit a wedge up there. Putt. So it's one of those things where, man, that was just such a shame. I really like JJ Spaun. Again, this is what I don't get too. I think the announcers get so they don't want to lose access to the players, so they're hesitant to say anything negative about the players. But the thing you have to realize,
Dan Rappaport.
Yes, but the thing you have to realize is that you being honest with the audience is what makes you entertaining. not even entertaining, but makes you watchable. If you're sitting there, like I was saying, I hate to bring it up again, but if you're sitting there saying it's starting to unravel and JJ Spaun's in the fairway of 18 and he's 4 shots back, dude, what? Yeah. So the broadcast, I mean, I know I'm kind of jumbled all thoughts over here. Bad broadcast still. I don't know if you caught the graphics at all. Graphics were terrible. Did you see the wind graphics they were using?
Oh, yes, I did.
What was that? Was that from
They look like from the early 2000s.
They look like it's from an old Dreamcast.
Yeah.
You know?
Not great.
No, it's horrible.
It's not
so they had that, and then they still had the old putt vision, which sucked. Yeah, man. So I don't know. But all in all, it was a good tournament. I did like the tournament. It came down to the final. I love a playoff, especially at the players being that it's a 3-hole aggregate. I like weird playoffs like that. So I'm all for it. But yeah, and I didn't like seeing Rory win, obviously, but that's another whole other thing. I know Zach didn't.
Huh?
I know you didn't like seeing Rory win.
I mean, listen, it's not a major. I said that going in. So I thought he had a pretty good chance to win. You can look it up on the last episode of the podcast. I think that's exactly what I said. I think an interesting storyline coming out of this event, especially for TaylorMade, is that he had his QI10 driver shipped to TPC Sawgrass, so he didn't have to play the QI35.
Yeah. Yeah, TaylorMade can't be too happy about that.
I mean, we just had a fitting day. I was going to ask it, but we were too busy, so I didn't get the chance. But, like, that's got to affect their fitters. It's got to. If they're trying to fit someone who has the QI10 into the QI35, and they're like, well, Rory doesn't even like the QI35. Why would I want to switch drivers?
Oh, I'm sure to an extent, but I don't think it changes all that much. There's plenty of guys out there that still play the QI35. So
no, I understand that there are, but it's one of those things where it's like it's the same kind of thing with a couple years ago with Cobra and Bryson talking about the rad speed. Now, I want to be 100% honest. Rad speed was not a great driver, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It was extremely, especially for the driver he would have been playing, which was probably the LS head. It was extremely hard to hit straight. It's like the SLDR from TaylorMade, where it's like, if you catch it right, it'll go a long way. But if you don't, it's going nowhere and nowhere near your line. So, and I think Cobra drivers have gotten better. I still play at the Aerojet from a couple years ago because I mean, there are a couple of drivers that I think I could hit further, but like in terms of the forgiveness that I have with that driver, and maybe it's just my specific one, I haven't had a driver that I hit that well, and that's probably a result of the head is better than the LTDX and the rad speed, and also it's I've gotten a much better golf swing since I hit those clubs. So, but I think it's an interesting storyline, at least, that Rory had his old driver shipped to the Players Championship.
Yeah, $900.
He paid like $700 to Uber.
He tipped. No, it was $900. He tipped the $600 for the Uber, and then he tipped the guy $300.
That's nice, at least.
Yeah. So Rory's a pretty good guy. In some
on
regard.
Occasion.
He has his moments.
when it helps him out, he is.
That's right. So this was just wanted to real quick show just one of these clips here, if you don't mind, Zacharoni. So this is just a little bit into kind of if you did miss it, I want to kind of show you this real quick. Here we go. So this is JJ. This is when it all ended. I mean, this really is when it all ended. He still had a chance even after that first hole, even that terrible first hole. So clear airmail to green.
Oh, c'est long.
That's 5 yards.
C'est long, c'est beaucoup trop long pour JJ Spaun qui trouve la zone à pénalité. Ah, c'est la catastrophe.
That's 5 yards long.
That's not 5 yards, dude.
That's 5 yards long.
That's not 5 yards.
That's 5 yards long.
But I mean, listen to him talk about it. He said, "I never thought it was long. Like he thought he hit the perfect shot."
Oh, it's just the adrenaline, dude.
Yeah, I understand that. But
and then here's Rory. The championship. Yep. And then there's him and his little girl. I wanted to show this. Just I know Zach's not gonna like this. It humanizes him. This is him with his little girl Poppy. Aw, it's for him. Yep. So I wanted to humanize him a little bit before we just tear him a new one.
All right, now let's tear him a new one.
All right.
All right. So I don't know why I keep switching to that screen. I don't like that. We're gonna talk about the fan who had his phone stolen and was kicked out of the Players Championship. This got me heated today, actually, because I read this today. Fan who heckled Rory McIlroy at the Players Championship after Aaron shot apologizes. Now, it's not the fact he apologized. I don't care that he apologized. I don't think he needed to, especially after being dragged by everybody and their mom in the golf media and having Rory crap on him and steal his phone and then get kicked out of the event. Luke Potter is a 20-year-old junior player for the University of Texas golf team. The Yahoo Sports partner with the PGA Tour. Big shocker what they're maybe trashing one of the world's greatest golfers by bringing up one of his lowest moments isn't the wisest idea. On Tuesday at the Players, after Rory McIlroy flared a shot wide into the water at the 18th hole, Potter called out, "Just like the 2011 Masters," which is funny. That's objectively funny.
It is hilarious, dude. That's like
objectively funny. That's something that Zane would say to me. That's something that
I would have said it right there. I would have said it right now. I would have said, see, and this is my issue with it, Zach. We don't know how loud he said it. We still don't. So I've got the video. You want to share my screen real quick, and then you can share yours again?
Yeah.
Yeah, share my screen real quick. We'll show the video real quick, just so people have some context. I think that's important. Ready?
Yeah.
He's got a turnover and watch. Sir. Oh, there he goes.
And by the way, he just took his buddy's phone. So
yeah, that wasn't even the guy that shouted anything.
Yeah, that was his phone.
So I was about to get to that. So let's go back this way.
Okay.
I'm on the wrong screen. There we go. That you may recall is where McIlroy coughed up the lead on the 10th hole Sunday. Okay. I mean, that was one of the most tragic rounds of golf I've ever witnessed. Like, him at the Masters in 2011 was one of the most tragic rounds of golf I've ever seen. Like, actually tragic. Like, it's up there with Dustin Johnson at Pebble Beach. Like, it was hard to watch. Hearing the taunt, McIlroy walked over to Potter and a teammate and took the teammate's phone, spun and walked away. Not even the guy who shouted anything. Shortly afterward, Potter and his teammate were escorted off the grounds of TPC Sawgrass, though the phone was eventually returned. But the incident went viral with millions of viewers on X, making Potter a case study in overstepping one's bounds at a golf tournament. Mind you, this is not during the regulation play. I find it hard to believe that this article hasn't mentioned this yet. They make it sound like he screamed that while he's on the 10th hole or while he's on 18 during the tournament in like round 1. No, this isn't a practice round.
Yeah. Rory's
going to hit 4 or 5 tee shots anyway.
At least another one.
At least one more.
Like, that's what blows my mind. And this is where, me and, our father, he had an opinion on this, and it was, I shouldn't have said anything. It's like, dude, it's a practice round.
It's a practice round. That's my thing.
First off, he thought it was okay. Second off, We don't even know how loud he said it. He could have said it louder than conversational volume so his buddy heard and laughed about it.
It was ridiculous to me in the first place, but then, okay. Potter's good off for himself and a very good one. He and his Texas teammates just won the Haight College tournament, a 54-hole event held nearby Monday. Texas rallied from 12-stroke deficit to Alabama to win. More than that, Potter himself won the tournament's individual title with a final round 69. So he's very, very good. And then he's forced to apologize because he's getting crapped on. And look, I just made a mistake. I take ownership for it. I apologize for it. That's about all that needs to be said. Just a good learning experience. Yeah, I apologize. He's got a hole in his heart, Texas coach John Fields told golf.com. He had no idea that was coming out of his mouth was going to result in this fashion. And who would?
Yeah.
It's a practice round.
It's a practice round. It's a funny statement. It's just a
joke.
This is the thing, man. It's just funny. And this is that call. I've told Dad this, and he disagreed. But this is that Colin Morikawa beta mindset. I mean, this is just. It is.
You
this
use
is
that
just
word so much now.
No, it's just that is what it is. And I use that word as a purposeful troll to make these guys aware how lame they're being. How lame they're being. They're not being adults. I can't imagine Jack Nicklaus doing that. I can't imagine Ronald Palmer doing that. Somebody says a joke in the crowd. No, you just walk it off.
Literally.
You just walk it off. Like
and
a fucking man. Sorry, I'm going to start cursing. Like a man. You just put your head forward and you walk it off like a man.
100%. And so I saw this story today on Instagram from golf.com. And their title was, he heckled Rory McIlroy. Now this college star is facing consequences. And I was like, you kidding? And then Coach John Fields says, Texas golf is a proud program. And it hurts my heart that this would have happened. But I'm a coach, and I know that 18 to 22-year-olds make mistakes from time to time. That's what happened on Tuesday.
John Fields sounds like a good dude.
He sounds like a good dude.
I think I met him whenever I was out there.
But my problem is this: how we handle it is extremely important. Suffice to say, he's paying the consequences of that. Going forward, he's going to be a better man. That's what I think. Honestly, if this was my player, I wouldn't punish him.
No. This is his punishment. This is his punishment. The bad publicity.
And apparently, for some reason, Fields indicated. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go back to a full screen here. Fields indicated that Potter had written letters of apology to several people. Rory McIlroy. Like, if you're going to apologize, that's the only person you need to apologize to.
Correct.
PGA Tour Commissioner Jay Monahan. Why?
You know, that's just a mea culpa because he's one of the top guys on the list for PGA Tour U. So it's just a mea culpa.
Brendan Von Doren,
I think
the director of PGA Tour University.
Yep.
And Scott Schroeder, the men's golf coach at the University of North Florida. I don't know.
The guy who held the height.
Oh.
Yep.
Fields would not disclose to golf.com whether Potter was facing any disciplinary action.
Of course. And, he shouldn't. And he shouldn't
at all.
It sounds like he just made a comment, and that comment was a little louder than he was intending, and the wrong person heard it, and the wrong person made wrong decisions.
And I want to just say, Roy was asked about this in the press conference.
I've got the clip. Go ahead and share my screen.
Okay.
It's 25 seconds. Ready?
Hold on. Yep.
Rory, can I ask you about shenanigans with that kid at 17 in the practice?
No, you can't.
Why?
Because I don't want you to.
All right. The whole thing, I think, was made stranger by the fact that it wasn't a civilian, that it was a player. I mean, is it surprising? Did you know that, and did you learn that later, and did it surprise you when you learned it?
I'm really happy that I shot 67 today.
Rory McIlroy is the most bitch-made person on the planet. Excuse my French.
Your French is excused.
That is a crappy response. Like, okay, if you're gonna act out, kick 2 guys out of an event and steal one of their phones, talk about it.
I don't even think talk about it. Like I disagree with you there. I don't even necessarily think the press needs to know about that.
My whole point is, if you're gonna have such a big reaction.
Yeah, I know.
If you're going to have such a big reaction to someone saying, just like the 2011 Masters in a practice round, yeah, I want you to talk about it. Because I need to know what was going through your head when that happened.
I think he's embarrassed.
To me,
I think he was embarrassed. I think he knew it was wrong. I think that's the only thing that explains him not talking about it there. I think he's embarrassed because he knew what he did was wrong.
I don't think Rory thinks anything that Rory does is wrong.
Then why wouldn't he talk about it?
Because it's outside of, it's outside of my game of golf. I don't have to talk about anything that's not golf.
But Rory shares a lot with the press. Rory's never been not one to share with the press except for after he loses the U.S. Open. However, Rory's never been short for words with the press. And so I think he just knew that it got under his skin and that he let anger and frustration get the best of him in that moment.
I
think he did.
Listen.
And it might he might not know it's shame that he's feeling, but that's shame. He's not willing to admit it. He's not willing to address the issue.
I think he's like, this question's so far below me. That's what I think is actually going on through his head. And you know why? You know why I think that?
Why?
It's because of how he portrays himself.
Okay.
And it's how he portrays himself in Full Swing Season 3.
I haven't seen it.
Which, I mean, you haven't seen it. But, I mean, he's basically the main character. Even though he did basically nothing last year.
I remember you telling me.
I mean, it's like he thinks of himself so highly. It's crazy. Like, he's the least humble person I've ever seen on television that people want me to like.
Mm-hmm.
Like, at least with Tiger when he was coming up, he wasn't humble, but he held himself well, if that makes sense. Because people were calling him out because when he in 1997, his rookie season, he was people were like, what would be a good weekend for you here? And he said, well, I want to go out there and win. And that's always my mentality. Like, if I'm not trying to win, then why even show up? And someone said, well, I think you're going to learn pretty fast that that's not how it goes out here. And then he ended up winning that tournament that weekend. And it's like, what? But it's an attitude thing. I don't know. I just think I don't like the way Rory carries himself. I really don't.
Okay.
And I mean, this is just another example of it. I don't know. Do you want me to believe you or my own lying eyes? Is that kind of thing when people are like, why don't you like Rory McIlroy? It's like, well, you got to give me a reason to like the guy. But that's it. That's the Rory segment for tonight. Zane's got a golfer he wants to get mad at. Zane, do you have a clip or anything you like to share? Or is it just
I do. Okay. Scottie Scheffler, you are public enemy numero uno.
You're not numero uno on my list. I still have. Listen, I'm on a generational hate run with Rory, and I'm going to keep it going.
So real quick, let's see if I can find the clip. Scheffler, Live. God, there's got to be a clip here.
I would have thought you had that clip up and ready to go, man. You were hyped about it.
I have the quote up and ready to go, not the clip. See if it's underneath here. No, so I'll just do the
share the screen and I'll put the quote on screen and then
okay,
we'll get it going.
Sounds good. So let's go ahead and do that. Share. Bingo. All right. So this is from Nuclear Golf. This was in the pre-Masters media conference call. defending champion Scottie Scheffler teed off on Live Golf.
Subscribe on YouTube.
Blaming them for current divide in the game. He said, quote, "They did what they wanted to do, and I can't control their life. I'm not going to sit here and say they should have done something different. They made their choice. If we want to figure out why the game of golf is not back together, go ask those guys. Go to wherever they are playing this week and figure out when the game is going to come back together."
I can't imagine why you'd hate this statement, Zane.
I can't imagine either. And then we're going to just read this real quick. This is from Brandel Chambly. He tweeted out, and this was the same day.
Your favorite guy.
Favorite dude. Yeah. I wonder if did he still block me on? Hold on, let me check. Brandel.
Wait, I got to see if I'm blocked by him.
Here it is. Here he is. I'm not blocked. Oh, he says he has blocked me. Okay, never mind. Brandel Chambly has blocked you. You can view public posts, but you are blocked from engaging with them. That's nice.
I'm not blocked. I still follow him. That's great.
There you go. So it says Brandel Chambly.
That's crazy.
Brandel Chambly.
I'll send you his private chat.
Okay. Let me just say this real quick. Thank you.
Yeah.
The PGA Tour is killing it, and Liv is dying a slow, costly death. Liv players have seller's remorse. They want the meritocratic cachet that, first off, anytime you use the word cachet, just
I like this guy huffs his own farts.
I'm pretty sure. Pretty sure
he's like, he farts into a bottle and goes.
That's right. And then every time he wants to take a whiff of himself, he does. He just takes that little jar out.
And he huffs Rory's farts as well.
He does too. That is very true. But they have shown in their choice to play for Liv that they'd rather have the money first and sue for the cachet, trying to blur the distinction between gift and reward. The audience sees right through them and chooses to watch those that they prefer to play for history and legacy. No, Brandel. That's not what it is. It's an established thing versus an unestablished thing.
Yeah.
And the established thing is obviously going to draw more eyes, particularly when it's the Players' Championship, which is one of the oldest PGA Tour events they do. That's a PGA Tour event.
Yeah. Zane, here's the question. Why did Live Golf Singapore not outperform the Players?
Yeah. Well, this is just so stupid.
Come on.
Like, Brandel, this is just so, if I may, retarded. I mean, it's just, you can't be this dumb. You just can't, unless you're being this on purpose, which I'm pretty sure he is. This is just one of those things that, of course, when you have an established product and you have somebody trying to enter into a market and the other guy has had a monopoly on that market,
and you could argue still does.
You could argue still does. Obviously, it's going to be hard to do so, particularly when that said established product is also making it very hard for your product to compete with that product.
It's like, imagine you tried to open up a retail store. Not a retail store, like a grocery store right now. And you have to compete with Walmart in the general area.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's like Aldi. It's like, you know how we have that Walmart right there in Auburndale?
Mm-hmm.
It's like opening up that Aldi across the street. Sure, you're not going to move large volumes or large quantities, but you can, as long as you keep the cost low and the cost low for Live.
As
long as
they may have made a blunder there.
It's a little different, obviously, because they need the players. But as long as you make sure that you're putting on a good product, like, people will start coming, more and more people will start coming, and especially if you keep the costs to entry lower than PGA Tour, aka Walmart, people will come and get your product instead of the PGA Tour's product. Now, I would argue the biggest blunder that Liv has made is doing their paid app of $60 a year. I think that's ridiculous. That's probably the thing might shoot them in the foot the biggest. Of course, they might have had to put a paywall. That might have been one of the prerequisites to getting their streaming deal on Fox. On Fox, that might have been a prerequisite.
But still, this is one of those things where
I feel like you could have negotiated that price down.
Sure. Well, this is, and you don't know if it was. You just assume it was. This is one of those things where, Brandel, you have to be a blundering idiot to suggest that PGA Tour is killing it and LIV is dying the slow death. You have to be stupid, because LIV numbers have only gone up ever since its inception, and the PGA Tour numbers have been falling ever since LIV has started. So, yeah, they had a great, and I've got that pulled up right here. In fact, we'll go ahead and show that, because why not? I'm not one to hide away from these numbers. You had, where is it? Oh, shoot. There's JJ Spaun, airmail, blah, 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 blah. There it is, ratings. So obviously you had the Players' Championship saw 3.6 million viewers tune in on NBC Sunday, up from 3.5. That's great. That's great news. Okay? But that's still on a year where you have Rory McIlroy, arguably the biggest name on the PGA Tour, aside from Scottie Scheffler. I'd still argue Rory's bigger name. You have Rory playing in the final round and getting into a playoff. So I would argue that's probably the reason you saw an uptick from it being a Scottie Wyndham Clark thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think you watch and this year there's a lot of guys in it too. Like, it wasn't just a two-man race. Like, there were 4 or 5 guys that had a chance if they could have put together a decent back nine to win the event.
Well, decent last 3 holes.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
I agree. So this is just one of those things where, Brandel, like, this is just a dumb take. And then we get back to old Scottie here. So Scottie, let's go back to this quote. So they did what they wanted to do. I can't control their life. Okay, obviously. I'm not going to sit here and say they should do something. They should have done something differently. Dude, what are you saying? You're quite literally saying they should have done something differently. Dude, you're literally saying, go ask them.
Yeah.
What does that imply? That implies they should have done something differently. I mean, that's just obvious. And just be a man, just say that. Just say, hey, they shouldn't have done it. They shouldn't have left. If they wanted majors, if they wanted this, if they wanted to play for the Players' Championship, they shouldn't have left. That's at least an honest argument. But you're sitting here saying, like, I'm not going to sit here and say they should have done something differently. You're saying they should have done something differently. That's exactly what you're inferring. You can say that's not what you're saying, but we all can read the subtext. We're not idiots. And then he goes on to say, if we want to figure out why the game of golf is not back together, go ask those guys. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that Jay Monahan and even the commissioner before him really pissed off Greg Norman whenever Greg Norman came, one of the biggest, arguably the biggest golfer at the time other than Tiger Woods. He came to him with an idea for a golf league around the world that toured around the world. And they were like, oh, no, that'll never work. And then they started the World Golf Championships. And, what do you know? They stole Greg Norman's idea. Greg Norman gets pissed off. Greg Norman goes behind the scenes. He wants to create this big thing for the players. And then they start the World Golf Championships. They start getting rid of them for no effing reason. Start getting rid of them, even though World Golf Championships, the viewership was insanely good. And I don't know if it's because they wanted just more money from it, right? Those maybe the draw of that, maybe the people running the championships were taking too much of a cut, or I don't know why, but they decided that they didn't want to do those anymore. The last one they got rid of was the match play. Terrible decision. Everybody loved the match play.
Yeah.
There's several reasons behind that, though, that have to do with Austin Country Club. We won't get into that. However, you're saying they made their choice. You're saying that go ask them why we're not back together. Dude, Greg Norman said from the very beginning, even tuning back to his Fox interview, if anybody remembers it, whenever he was sitting with Tucker Carlson talking about golf, the state of golf. No, was it Sean Hannity or Tucker? It was Tucker, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was one of them. It was Sean Hannity or Tucker. He was talking with him, and he was saying, like, look, I'm more than happy to meet with Jay and talk about a deal where we can get our guys in there and their guys here. And, we can join forces together and make this a great thing. The answer from the PGA Tour side was no. We don't want you. And why didn't they want him? Because that would have cut into the bottom line.
Yeah.
Because that would mean that Jay Monahan don't get a cut of that nice cheddar.
Yeah.
That's why. So no, Scottie. No, I'm not going to go ask those guys.
Yeah.
We followed this from the beginning. If you've watched this podcast, you know why.
Who
they're
said
not back together?
Who said that if I'm just curious, was it Liv that said you couldn't play on PGA Tour events if you joined, or was it PGA Tour that said you couldn't play in PGA Tour events if you joined?
Exactly.
I mean,
who's the one acting like an anti-competitive? Who's the one acting like a monopoly? It ain't Liv.
No.
Liv
because
won.
guess what? They let their guys play on PGA Tour Asia when they can play in European Tour
now
events.
The Asian Tour. Now the Asian Tour.
Well, yeah.
So they don't have a PGA Tour Asia.
Who's letting their guys play in everything they can? It's Liv.
So this is this whole concept, and I don't know who's in Scottie's ear. I don't know if Jay Monahan. I know Jay Monahan's. He's got to be a smooth talker. He's got to be. He's just got to be.
He's got the. Never mind. I'm not going to make that comparison.
He's got to have those lion eyes.
He's got that. Let's just say he's got that dictator charisma.
Sure, I don't even know what that means, but here's the thing.
A dictator, they convince a lot of people that.
Dictator. I thought you said a
dictator charisma.
I thought you were saying a name. I thought you were saying a dictator or something.
No, I was gonna say a name. I put it in the private chat, but he's got that dictator charisma.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't have any dictator charisma.
Well, he doesn't have any guys, he does.
No, he doesn't have any dictator charisma.
Listen, man.
No.
I'm just saying.
That's a dumb take. That's a dumb take. I'm sorry.
Listen, Rory is Goebbels.
No, that's not. He doesn't have a dictator charisma.
I think he does.
No, I just think he's a smooth talker. He's a salesman. He's like a used car salesman. Yeah. So here's the thing. You cut me off. You took me off the beat. I was on a roll, and you got me off of it. But it all boils down to the fact that Jay Monahan, he is the world's largest hypocrite. He was the one who immediately after the Liv stuff kicked off and they lost a lot of their talent, he was the one who got in contact with the 9/11 families and decided that he was going to attack all those people and say that they were against the 9/11 families. And how dare they? Because they're a bunch of traitors siding with the Saudis.
Which, by the way, is a U.S. ally, right?
And then a year later, overnight, literally, then turning around and saying and getting on the Sunday shows with is it Yusuf? Getting on the shows with the Liv, the PIF commissioner.
Yeah.
Getting on shows with him saying, we've made a deal, we've struck a deal. And then when asked about the 9/11 families, he balked.
He said, yeah, that was probably
couldn't address it
or something.
He couldn't address it. He just said, oh, well, it's time to come together. That's unacceptable. That is so unacceptable.
Yeah.
Because that is a snake, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know any other word to describe a person that can do that other than them being an absolute snake. They are the snake in the Garden of Eden telling Eve that, God wants you to eat the apple. If he didn't want you to eat the apple, he wanted to set that apple there.
Yeah, why is the apple there if you can't eat it, man?
Yeah, why is that apple there? It's natural. That's the snake. He's the snake. And I don't see how that can be anything but evil.
I don't think he's a great guy.
That's a big word, but to use there, deep word.
Still working on that video. I
don't know how else you can say it. So no, Scottie. Let's bring it all back to Scottie. Scottie, no, do not go ask the Liv guys why why the world of golf isn't back together. Okay? Ask your boy. Ask your boy Monahan, where was he whenever Greg Norman wanted to meet? Ask your boy Monahan, where was he whenever the PIF commissioner wanted to meet at first? The only reason that Jay Monahan even came to the table was because the likes of John Rahm, the likes of Phil Mickelson, all the other talent, Caleb Surratt, the young talent even, Sam Horsfield, right? All the young talent that's playing really, really well. That's the reason. That's the reason he came to the table.
Also, lesser known name. Where was Jay Monahan
Evan Na.
when Andy Gardner wanted to come to the table?
Yep.
They told him no.
Yep. Jay Monahan put all those guys in the positions they were in.
Yep.
None of those guys wanted to be in those positions.
Some of them
didn't make the best decisions in the lead up to that. Some of them didn't put in the formal requests. But I would argue that a lot of them knew what the answer would be, and that's why they didn't submit the formal requests.
Yeah.
So,
but like also like I think a lot of people forget the timeline, especially with Phil. Because we talked about this back.
And yeah. Scotty, ask Jay Monahan while you're at it. Ask him what he did with Phil's offer to bring in $1 billion investment for the player's purse.
Like a lot of people forget that Phil brings in, he has $1 billion investor lined up, ready to go,
and that's never been refuted. By the way, they've never refuted that.
And Jay Monahan told him no, or not just no, basically told him to go F himself.
Well, no, he said no because he didn't think the live thing was going to happen.
And then
that's why he said no. And that's probably when Phil, I mean, that's the start of the villain arc for Phil, right?
Well, I think it's so much worse because people forget he gets told no, right?
Mm.
And then Phil starts being relative, like not super anti PGA Tour, but he starts voicing some of his concerns on social media and in interviews about his issues with the PGA Tour. And then all of a sudden, Alan Shipnuck comes out of the ether.
Yeah.
To write a hit piece on him.
Another snake. And if you've ever seen that guy's face, he's an effing snake.
I mean, he looks more like a weasel to me, but
okay. Whatever.
But like just comes out of the woodwork out of nowhere to just write a hit piece on Phil Mickelson.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, all of golf media hates Phil Mickelson.
Yep.
And thinks he's the worst.
Yep.
So
almost overnight. He
was beloved a month prior.
That's exactly right. So
and then the work like so many people
you're rambling. Go ahead.
I'm just saying so many people forget the timeline that like people say Phil left the PGA Tour. I think the PGA Tour left Phil.
I think the PGA Tour left all those guys. Yeah.
But like especially Phil Mickelson because he was a hero and then a villain in 2.7 seconds.
Yeah, you want to talk about loyalty. There was no loyalty going the other way.
No, absolutely not.
No, whenever I have $1 billion investment lined up and you tell me
not a million, $1 billion.
I said $1 billion, bud.
Oh, I thought you said $1 million.
No, listen to the words I'm saying. So whenever you have $1 billion investment lined up and the response is, no, we don't think the other thing X is going to happen. And you know that the $1 billion investment would go toward players' checks?
Who cares?
What?
Who cares if the other thing doesn't happen? You have $1 billion investment.
And then we find out that there was this whole amount of cash that we knew nothing about. Only after Live became a thing. Where did this $125 million come from?
Yeah.
So spare me, Scottie Scheffler.
I mean, I think,
you want to talk about meritocracy, and yet you're still giving out money to Tiger effing Woods because he hits the most hits in social media.
yeah.
How is that meritocratic? That just blows my mind how these people can speak out of both sides of their bodies.
Yeah.
Out of their mouth and their ass.
I mean, I like the whole Live saga. It's been really interesting because we've covered the entire process. We covered pre-Live, the start of Live when all the players left, post-Live when everyone was crapping on all those players that left. I mean, it's been interesting because, like, when you've been covering it the whole time, like, it's hard not to see the obvious bad guys in the story. Like, the clear and obvious bad guys in the story.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean.
And I think it's crazy. I really do. What was the next topic we were going to discuss? Because you went off on Scottie Scheffler. I feel like we can give the kid a break.
Okay. Well, I just drew Jay Monahan. There's a picture of Jay.
That's actually a really good cartoon drawing. Have you ever thought about becoming a cartoonist?
Maybe. I don't know. So anyway, one of the last bits, I figured we got a little deep and heavy there. I figured we have a little bit of fun.
Yeah.
I like having fun too. I don't like just being all serious and junk. I like having some fun. And so what I've got here is it was just so great. So I don't like YouTube golf.
I love YouTube golf, man.
I know you do. This is effing spectacular. Justin Thomas hilariously shuts the door on his 1v1 match with Grant Horvat. We got to
now this is
Match
a 5-shot
over.
challenge, so he's starting.
Like he's back there, he thinks he has a chance right now. It's just, I could try to make this chip a little more than it is, just to make him feel like he has something. It's a little harder than I thought it would be, Grant. It's not really.
What was?
This chip, it looks tougher than I thought.
By the way,
Yeah,
that's
no,
how
it is
Grant
tough.
Horvat sounds. He said, "What was?"
I have to hit a good chip now after talking all this. So I can't figure out how much left it's gonna go. It's really gonna, just the more I play, the more it's gonna break.
This is incredible.
Oh, that's the best thing ever.
Oh no. Oh no.
It's done. It's never matched. It's done.
That's spectacular.
That's good.
I told Zach.
No idea what just happened.
I told Zach I'm gonna need an Atlanta Drive
I
hat
have no idea what just happened.
after that. That's like the coolest thing ever.
That is like I watched that video literally like 2 days ago.
He's gonna love that one.
Is that like whenever we play each other?
Oh my god.
Yeah, I don't
What do
think
you
I
mean?
want to play
Grant.
anymore. I think
Is that how you feel? Do you feel like Grant Horvat whenever we play each other and I get the those lucky breaks and whatever, or I chip in?
I felt like that. Oh my god. Not with you. It's more with Tommy.
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 Oh,
So
that hurts my feelings.
yesterday, I'm gonna shout him out. It's the other assistant at the Georgia club.
Shout the brother out.
So I was playing with a former student of Zane's, Nick Green, and I got back and we finished our 9 holes. I did not play well, and Tommy's like, "Let's play a hole for $20," and I was like, "Okay, I'll play a hole for $20 against Tommy." And then, so I was like, okay, because it's for $20, I'm actually gonna play this like a tournament, right? So I'm not going for a big drive. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to cut this. We're playing one red. Just going to cut this, start it at the bunker, cut it to the middle. Absolutely perfect tee shot. I mean, shaped the fairway and everything. Tommy pulls his and rolls out of a bunker. I'm like, okay. He pulls his 5-wood left and long of the green, which is like the worst spot to be on that hole. I hit my hybrid 20 feet short of the hole and it bounces over. I'm like, well, I hit it exactly how I wanted to. There's nothing I could do about that. I hit a high cut and for whatever reason didn't hold the green. They're punched. Maybe I got a bad bounce out of a hole. I then hit a perfectly touchy, like high, land soft to like 4.5 feet for birdie. I'm like, this is locked up. Tommy punches his because he can't get it underneath the tree, punches his, and leaves it short of the green. This is over in my head. He's got like a 40-foot chip on a downhill slope. Green running away from him the whole way. And he chips it in for birdie, and I lip out.
Zach, have you ever thought that maybe the common denominator is just you? Maybe you're just really unlucky. It's not that everybody else is lucky. Maybe you're just unlucky.
The thing that pissed me off about it is I hit every single shot exactly how I wanted to. I mean, the drive, exact shape I was looking for. I'm not kidding, I hit my hybrid on the pin. Started it left, high cut, called it before, like I said, I'm just going to cut this high, started it left of the pin, cut it high, and I was like, this is going to be like 5 feet for eagle. It bounced over the back. Tommy goes, pull, screws up a punch shot to try and get it on the green and then chip in. I go, perfect shot. The best pitch shot I've hit in a year to put it to 4.5 feet. No room to work with. Hitting up like a 10-foot hill onto a green that's running away from me. And he chips in for birdie and I lip it out. I mean, I was like, I hate golf. Because I hit every shot perfect.
No, you don't. I mean, you like giving me money. I mean,
perfect.
All right.
And I lost
Still waiting on that Venmo. By the way.
I'll Venmo you right now.
No.
How much was it?
I think it was like $14 total.
Okay. Guys, this guy's really stressing about $14. Must be going bad for him.
I think it was like $15. I think $16 maybe. It'll make it easy.
Maybe 38. I don't know.
20 sounds about right. No, I don't know how much you owe me, but I think it was around 14. That sounds right. But anyway, no, we so I guess since you're out of commission, we ain't playing Monday.
We'll see how I feel on Monday. I because it wasn't hurting that bad yesterday. Like I could feel it, but it wasn't hurting bad. And then today I had like spasms. It did not feel good at all.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. And then last little cute thing for us to talk about is just a
Wesley Bryan.
A sad day. Justin, LPGA star Charlie Hull will try to quit smoking cigarettes. Quote, today I made a decision, saddest day in American history. World history. I've made the decision to stop smoking, and I'm going to do a 10 grand bet that if I pick up a cigarette in the next 2 months, I'll give you 10 grand. Here we go.
Kid, I'm going to give them to right now, yeah? And I'm going to do a 10 grand bet with you. I get no money in it. 10 grand bet. If I pick up a cigarette in the next 2 months, I'll give you 10 grand and I'm shaking on that. Deal? Okay.
I'm going to have to record it 24 hours a day.
Yeah, and no, I promise you I won't, and you can check them in the bin for me.
Okay, gone.
Right.
Zach, is she going to win the bet or is she going to lose the bet?
I'm rooting for her to win the bet. Listen, as a nicotine addict, I'm rooting for her to win the bet.
I'm rooting for her to lose this bet. I'm sorry. There's nothing hotter than Charlie Hull ripping a dart while on the tee.
I mean,
that's just
sick.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't even like cigarettes. They always give me headaches. Whenever Dad was smoking them, they'd give me headaches in the car. But I can't lie. How attractive that is. Seeing her rip darts.
See, I'm the opposite way. I don't think it's attractive when girls smoke.
I don't usually either. That's the crazy part. I don't know what it is about Charlie Hull ripping darts while
doing one of the sexiest things women can do, which is playing golf. I don't know. I don't know what it is for me, but it does it. It does whatever it is.
Listen, she's probably having a rough week. So let's go to someone who had arguably a worse week.
All right, go ahead, share it, bud.
Wesley Bryan. I'm a big fan of Wesley Bryan. He's helped me with my short game, and just the way he hits short game shots. Let's just go over Wesley Bryan's week here. Been on quite the run this past week. Almost dead last at the Creator Classic. Yeah, he did not. I think he shot 6 over at TPC Sawgrass.
Oh my God.
He blew his back out sneezing.
What?
I mean, he's like 34. It can happen. So actually,
he must sneeze like Dad. He must sneeze like Dad, just 7 in a row. Just
well, I saw someone sneeze and they popped a rib.
No, that's not.
They
real.
sneezed like this and their rib popped out.
No, that's not.
Swear
real.
to God,
Fake
it can happen.
News.
That's
fake news.
I'll send you the video. I'll send you the video later.
Fake. Zach's so fake.
I'll send you the video later.
He's like
he tested positive for the flu and for COVID. He's on a run, man. He's on quite the run.
Got my identity
stolen. Got his identity stolen and shot his highest 18-hole round on camera.
I almost got mine stolen the other day. Wow.
And his highest 18-hole round on camera. Stay tuned, though. We have an electric run of content coming through.
No,
I love this, man.
No, that word right there has no R in it. No.
Though. Electric run of content coming, though.
I'm just here to watch out for you, bud. That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I'm sure you are, bud.
Just doing older brother things.
But so apparently bad week for Wesley Bryan. If you guys enjoyed the show, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell. Stay tuned for what we have coming
Smash that bell icon.
If you want any merch, that link is in the description down below. And if you like this hat or this shirt, check out the other link down in the description below. Go to yadagolf.com.
And if you like
that
this,
link, and that actually automatically applies the discount code.
And if you like this hat or this shirt, can't tell you what you can do. You just don't have my style. So
I mean, those blues are 2 different colors. It's not the greatest outfit in the world, but I mean, if I was gonna wear that hat, I'd wear black or white.
Hey Zach,
just a personal opinion.
Go eat glue. All right.
I am actually planning on doing that in about 20 seconds.